What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Dr. Giggles. So this is a movie that I've known about for a little while, but I didn't really know much about it. And it's a movie that I've always been slightly interested in. It's never been one that I've been absolutely dying to see, but it's always been in the back of my mind, like, you know what, I want to check that one out one day. And, a little while ago, I was browsing through Tubi, and I saw Dr. Giggles, and I was like, heck yeah, I've never seen it on there. It might have been the first time that it was added to Tubi, but I was like, heck yeah, they got it on Tubi for free. Gotta check it out. I believe I think at this point it's been on there for almost a month, so I kind of got to this one late. But yeah, once I saw that on there, like, I immediately added it to my watch list, and I'm like, okay, I have to watch this before it leaves. And after watching it, my overall impression of it, I thought it was decent. There were quite a few elements that I liked, but just in terms of overall enjoyment, it was just decent. It was okay. I didn't absolutely love it, but like I said, the concept was super unique. I feel like it was creative, and I feel like for a slasher movie, it had, like, a decent amount of story going on, and honestly, it was actually kind of scary. And that sounds crazy because, like, a lot of people who watch horror movies a lot, they don't really get scared of horror movies, and I mean, I feel like I watch a lot of horror movies. I mean, maybe not as many as some people, but I feel like I watch a lot. But so it's probably crazy hearing me say, like, oh, this scared me, and I'm like a grown man, it's like, and I'm talking about it scared me, but like medical stuff and needles and all that, like surgery and stuff, like, has always freaked me out. So all of those elements were really creepy to me. He's always got like a giant needle, and I'm just like, oh heck no. He's got the scalpel. I'm like, get out of here. I almost have to look away. I'm like, oh my goodness. But anyways, yeah, like, it wasn't the best movie, but it was decent, and it did have a lot going for it. I think it's super unique. A lot of, like, it. A lot of slasher movies are just forgettable. This at least tried to do something different, and you could tell, like, they put a lot of effort. It wasn't just like, okay, let's just do this, like, lazy attempt at this doctor killer concept. I feel like they did the concept justice. And I'll get into that later. But right now I'm going to give you all a quick plot summary. So you have this gentleman. He's at this mental institution. He's killing this person. He escapes the institution. And then we're introduced to this group of teenagers. The lead girl, she has a medical condition with her heart. And basically her mom passed away due to a heart condition, and she was supposed to go in for a routine operation, which is what this girl is told she will have to undergo, like, a routine operation if her heart condition gets worse. So this girl's freaking out. Like, the doctors are just, like, saying, like, oh, it's no big deal, blah blah blah. So she's dealing with that. You got this group of kids, they're messing around, they go to the doctor's old house. So the escaped mental patient is the son of this doctor who, back in the day, I think in like the 50s, he killed 7 people, and he cut out their hearts because his wife, she had some heart condition, and in the 50s you couldn't do a heart transplant. So he was like a pioneer. He was insane, but he was like a pioneer, and he was trying to do heart surgery, like a full heart transplant to save his wife. So not the best methods. I mean, maybe just don't kill innocent people, but you know, he was ahead of his time, which is what they said. That sounds like I'm like saying that it's okay. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm trying to give a plot summary, but it's a movie character. Who cares? I'm not saying he's good. I'm overthinking it right now. But anyways, so that doctor's son, who is the main doctor in this, Dr. Giggles, who he's not really a doctor, he's just an escaped mental patient. You know, once he escapes the mental hospital, he goes to his old house, which is, I mean, it's Halloween much, Michael Myers much, escape a mental institution, go back to your old crib. Where have we seen that? I'm not like knocking the movie like that. That's like, it's not like they ripped off Halloween. That's, I mean, that's such like a general thing that could be in any movie. But anyways, he goes back to his old crib. The kids are there. He starts picking them off, and then he, you know, just as the movie progresses, he's riding around town, picking off these kids, also just picking off random adults, just killing people. And at first it's kind of random. He just wants to kind of perform like makeshift surgeries on people pretty much. I don't know. Like they say he has like mental problems, so yeah, he's just killing people. There's no rhyme or reason really at first. But then later on he finds out that the main girl has a heart condition, so all of the victims that he's killed, he takes their hearts out and he's trying to perform a heart surgery on her to continue his father's work. So that is the basic plot. And like I said, for a slasher movie, I think it was a pretty unique story. And there were some cool flashbacks to Dr. Giggles when he was a kid. Those were creepy. And, you know, I feel like it was like a pretty fleshed out story for what the movie was. It's just a teen slasher movie, but pretty unique in my opinion. So, I was going to talk about kills, but I'm going to talk about kills later. So, one thing that I liked about this movie is I feel like it blended horror and comedy well. It didn't go over the top with the comedy. And like I said, I'm scared of medical stuff. I don't like needles and seeing surgery and stuff. So this movie actually scared me. And so yeah, it was actually scary, and they didn't go over the top with the comedy. Dr. Giggles had some one-liners, and there was some, you know, just funny situations with the medical equipment, but it was like they kept the killer scary and serious, and they didn't go too crazy with the comedy, because in some movies where like the concept is completely ridiculous, I feel like it works to go completely over the top with the comedy. Like if it's like a Leprechaun movie or something like that. I'm not hating on those movies. I actually like some of them, but you know what I mean? Like if it's just like such a silly, outlandish concept, then you got to go overboard with the comedy. This didn't go too crazy, but I liked all like the one-liners, and what else? Oh yeah, and then they had this little like nursery rhyme, like Nightmare on Elm Street, and I like that. I'm a sucker for nursery rhymes in horror movies. It wasn't as iconic or memorable as like the 1-2 Freddy's Coming for You nursery rhyme. It was too long-winded. They should have cut like 3 bars off that nursery rhyme, because I mean I can't tell you one line from that. But I like that they added that. That's a nice little rip off. No, I'm just kidding. They're ripping off Halloween. He escapes from a mental institution, and he's what am I stuttering, repeating my words? No, I just sometimes I'll be like, I pronounced that word slightly incorrect, so I gotta say it again. So I'm not like repeating stuff. I'm not crazy like the guy in this movie. But anyways, they ripped off Halloween, where he escapes a mental institution and goes to his old house. Then they're ripping off Nightmare on Elm Street with the nursery rhyme, and they're ripping off Freddy with all these one-liners. I mean, who are these filmmakers? A bunch of hacks, a bunch of copycats. I'm just joking, okay? I think this is a unique movie. I'm just Drake and Josh and you all here. All right, now I'm gonna get into the kills here. So the kills for me, the kills, they didn't really do it for me. So here's the deal with kills. They were very creative, and there was a good variety of kills, you know, and the kills utilized all the medical equipment, you know, very well. But like I feel like most, like maybe 85 to 90% of the kills were cutaways, and that was pretty darn disappointing. And that's not the movie's fault. It might have been a situation where the MPAA totally butchered this movie and made them cut a bunch of stuff. But just as a viewer, as a consumer, I was kind of upset that like every kill was a cutaway kill. Even like because they were cool, creative concepts. It would have been cool to see some of the aftermath, but we didn't really get to see that. I like I like that the lead girl, she's dealing with going to all these doctor's appointments, and she's frustrated because this past year I've been having to go to like a lot of doctor's appointments. I don't have any serious illness. I have like chronic pain, but it is frustrating going to doctors. You know, of course, you know, doctors, they do great stuff, and you know, they know what they're doing, but it's like it it depends like what condition you have. Sometimes it's hard to tell what specific condition you have, and then sometimes it's like this doctor might not be correct, or you'll try like different procedures and medications, like nothing works. So it's like me currently like going to doctor's appointments now. Like I went to like pick up a prescription today, and I got doctor's appointments coming up and for the chronic pain stuff, and I've been doing that like all this year. Like as a person who's going through some medical stuff, like I liked that. Like it was just relatable. Where of course I don't have a serious condition like her, so you know, knock on wood, I'm all good. But it was like very relatable. Like the frustration with doctors, because it's like it's not a fun place to be. Where you know you got these doctors saying like, oh, it's not a big deal, and it's like you're in pain every day. This is like stressing you out, you know, and they're just like, yeah, hey, it's not a big deal. But I'm not hating on doctors. I'm just saying, like, if you're in a position where you have to deal with, you know, all this medical stuff, you're gonna be a little frustrated, you know. And then I'm gonna get into a little bit of a negative thing here. So, I mean, one thing that I didn't like about this movie, in addition to all the cutaway kills, is the cast was just so forgettable. Like, they had like no charm, no charisma. You never got a chance to like get to know them, and it's like, okay, it's a slasher movie, so it doesn't really call for the characters to be that developed. But look at something like, you know, Friday the 13th Part 4, you know, or even like Halloween 4. I don't know why I'm obsessed with uh, the fourth movie in franchises right now for some reason, but you know what I mean? Like, you can have cool, likable characters in slasher movies. Like these characters, they're just like there, you know? And it's like, yeah, like slasher movies don't call for like character development or these like super deep characters, but like at least give them some personality at least, you know? And then the main romance was weird. Like the guy kind of cheated on her. Like, I mean, he just kissed this one girl and she came on to him, so it wasn't really his fault. But then she was like mad at him, and then suddenly he just like comes back out of the blue, and then they just like are like totally in love again. And I feel like they never even talked about like that little situation or addressed it. They're just like, you know what, hey, I'm crazy about you. That little thing where I was, you know, making out with that chick hardcore, totally feeling her up, you know, that was, she came on to me. It was no big deal. And then they're just like madly in love after. I don't know. I didn't like the main romance. It didn't do it for me, man. And then I just have two like random things written down here that I guess I'm gonna talk about before I wrap up the video. So early on in the movie, they're going into Dr. Giggles' like decrepit house, and they're sipping Old English in 12-ounce cans. Is that a real thing? Like, was it? I feel like I've never seen I've only seen like Old English tall boys. Like, has anyone else seen that? Like Old English in a 12-ounce can? I don't, I don't, I don't know. I was just like, what? Like, is this real life? Like, what's going on? Is this like Bizarro world? Like, is this a prop for the movie? You always see Old E and Tall Boys. Shouts out to Old E. I think I used to drink that back in the day. So like, man, the other day I accidentally like purchased some malt liquor. I was trying to purchase just a regular like tall boy like beer can, and I accidentally purchased some malt liquor, which is like 5% alcohol. Man, I was too turned. It was like, it was an accident though, but I was like, it tasted bad. It was like not good. I think it was called like Steel Reserve or something. It tasted gross, but I mean, it got me turned up. So shouts out to malt liquor. Shouts out to Steel Reserve. Get you turned up, and it's like cheap too. And then another honorable mention here while we're on the topic of just random stuff. I I like the scene where the guy drops the condom in the toilet, and then he picks up somebody's toothbrush to fish it out, and then it's broken. He's like, hey, I don't even think she'll notice. He's just like he's just this guy is just such a piece of work in two scenarios, you know. But I mean, you know, he's a young teen. He's got the hormones raging. He's trying to get a little something something. So it happens. But I don't think that was his toothbrush. I think that was either his brother's toothbrush or his girlfriend's toothbrush, and he's just like, whatever. Like, gotta fish this condom out of the toilet. I don't know. I thought that was really funny. But I mean, if you're if you're in the mood like that, he's got his girl waiting for him in the bed. You're gonna do anything to fish that out. So I mean, desperate times call for desperate measures, I guess. So you gotta resort to destroying someone's toothbrush, I guess. Getting E. coli on the toothbrush. I don't know. But anyways, that's all that I wanted to talk about. So, you know what? Even though I just had a decent, okay time with this movie, I would still recommend it if you're a horror fan, because there's not a lot of there are a lot of 90s horror movies, but there's not a lot of 90s slasher movies, and I feel like this is a decent 90s slasher movie. It's a decent horror comedy, and I don't really know any other slasher movies that focus on a crazy doctor, so it's definitely a unique concept. So I would recommend it. But with that being said, I've went over everything I wanted to go over, so I'm gonna wrap things up here. Thank you all very much for watching, and peace out.